Hello, you're welcome to my channel. My name is Zenando. In this video, I am going to be discussing two interfaces that you need to get familiar with as a developer. Number one is command line interface, and the second one is code editor. The command line interface is a platform that you use to give command to your computer. There are many uses you're going to find it useful in so many areas in your programming journey. One of the things you'll be using it to do is to run your Python programs. And the second thing you will use it to do is to create environments where you will execute Python commands. I'm going to be showing you how these things are done in this video. But then, this interface has different names on different devices. On Windows, you will hear names like Command Prompt or CMD. You also hear things like PowerShell, Windows Terminal. All these are referring to the same interface that you use to give command to your computer, although they might have different softwares. On Linux, you hear names like Terminal, Bash, and Console. On Mac OS, you also hear names like Terminal, ZSH, and Bash as well. All these refer to a platform or an interface through which you can give command to your system. So we are going to be focusing on Windows. How do you open the CMD on Windows? You simply go to your search bar and type CMD. Once you type CMD, you see the app pop up, and then you click on it to open it. It opens with a dark background, you can see. As it is, this has created an environment for you to give command to your computer. It is now ready to accept commands from you. Now I'm going to be talking about the different parts of this interface. You can see there are two things you can notice here: the blinking cursor and then the text behind it. The blinking cursor is just to tell you that it is ready to accept command. So whatever command you type there will be executed. Now the text you can see is showing you the exact location on your system where you are currently. This represents the current working directory. Now I'm going to be showing you on your file explorer what this represents. That C you see there represents the drive, the main drive where all your files are stored. That is the drive you are seeing there, the C drive. This is what contains every file and folders in my system. So if you open it, you're going to see the users folder, and if you open the users folder, you're also going to see the user folder, as you can see. So what this implies is that you are currently in the user directory, which is inside the users directory, which is inside drive. You can locate or you can navigate to this position from your file explorer, just like I showed you before. Okay, so when you open the user directory, you see a bunch of files. We are going to see these files when we look at all the directory inside this current working directory. So how do you see the files inside this current working directory? Just type the command dir and you can see those files: contacts, desktop, documents, downloads. If you go through your file explorer, you will also see these files inside the same user directory. Okay, so I'm going to be teaching you how to navigate from one directory to another, from one location to another. So let's assume we want to move to another directory from this place. You type the command cd, then the name or the directory that you want to change into. Now it has entered. We have entered the contacts directory, which is exactly in the same folder, the user directory. So let's assume that we want to go back and enter another directory. We do the same thing. Just type the name of the directory you want to, as long as it is within the directory where you are currently working, then you can easily navigate to that directory. Now, there are two ways when you want to go backwards from where you are. The command is cd space then double dot, then you press enter, and that will take you backwards. So the syntax for moving from one directory to another is you type the command cd, then the location of the directory where you want to enter. That is exactly the way it is. There are two types of location. All right, the location you provide can be of two types. The first type is the relative location. A relative location. The second one is absolute location, or we call it path. I use the word location so that you will understand what I'm saying. Normally it is path that you call it. Relative path and absolute path. So what is relative path and what is absolute path? A relative path is when the directory is exactly within the file tree of where you are currently. So you reference it by writing or by typing the name directly. For instance, when we navigated from the user directory to the contacts directory, the contacts directory is immediately inside the user directory. So to provide the relative path of the contacts directory, you just type out the name contacts. So like in this case now, the postman directory is within the user directory. So to move from it to move into the postman, we provide the relative directory, the relative part, which is the name postman. But if we want to provide the absolute part to postman, then we have to begin from the C drive to trace the location of the postman until we get to where the postman is. So whenever a part starts with the C drive, then it is absolute. Whenever a part begins with the C drive, then that part is absolute. But if it does not start with the C drive, then it is relative. So now I am trying to navigate into another directory that is inside the C drive from where we are now, but it is not possible. Why? Because it is not directly inside. Why? Because I am using a relative part to access it, which is not possible. The only way you can use the relative part to access a directory location is when it is directly inside the directory where you are currently. But if it is not within the file tree of the directory where you are, then you have to provide absolute path to wherever you want to enter. So with absolute path, you can navigate to any part of your system that you want, no matter where you are. But with relative path, you can only move within the directories that are inside where you are at the moment. So now I want to go back to where we were before. Okay, you can see we are back to where we were before. So that is how you navigate from one place to another within the command line interface. I hope you really learned this. Now, for you to create a Python environment within the command line interface, just type Python and it will create the Python environment. So once you type Python, you will see it will bring out, if Python is installed on your system, it will bring out the information that you can see up there, the Python version and some information, then the 3 arrow showing a prompt letting you know that it is ready to accept command. So the only commands you can give are Python commands. To exit from the Python environment, you just type exit with parentheses and then you go back to your command line environment. Now you can see that the same command that I made when I was in the Python environment could not run in the command line environment. Why? Because you have changed the environment. All right, the command line environment does not recognize that print command, but the Python environment recognizes it and executes it. That is the difference between the two. Okay, now we are going to be moving on to code editor, we are going to be looking at how to run your Python program on the command line interface. So the first thing you do is you create your Python file. So I'm creating a Python file hello.py, and the code I'm going to type in is to print hello world. So we're going to save it, and then you can see it. You can see the hello world on our desktop. All right. So I want to run this file on the command line interface. So you're going to see how to run a Python file on the command line interface. Okay. So the file is on my desktop. So what you do is you have to navigate to your desktop. So where is the desktop located? You can see that the desktop is located within that user directory. So I will simply cd into it. Cd desktop. I've entered my desktop. So all the files and folders on my desktop are accessible to me from here. So that hello world is within this directory now. You can see it, hello.py. So we're going to call Python, then the name of the file, and that will execute, that would run the Python file. Yes. So this is how to run a Python file on the command line interface. So if I change the text in the file and I run it again, you will still get the new change. All right. Hello Zinando. So that is it. So we'll be moving on to code editor. Be looking at how to set up your code editor for Python programming. The code editor is simply a tool that you use to write your programs, not just Python but every other program. It's simply used for writing code. So where do you download a code editor? We'll be using VS Code as an example in this video. So you download VS Code from the Visual Studio website, as you can see on the screen. Just type on Google search and then click on their website and then go there to download. It is free of charge. It is free to use. So when you have downloaded a code editor or VS Code, how do you set it up for Python programming? So if you have installed it on your system, just simply type search for it on your search bar, and you will see it will pop up from your start menu, and then you open it. So for the first time, this is what you're going to see. All right. Now there are different parts of it. You can see this is the sidebar. This is where all the files you are working with will be displayed. All the files if you're working on a project. Now this bottom part is where you have some tabs. You have the terminal there. This terminal is similar to the command line interface that we saw, but this one is embedded inside your VS Code. So instead of after writing program you go and be opening VS Code, you can simply run your programs on this terminal. So the VS Code, to prepare your VS Code, you're going to be installing some extensions. One of it is Python extension. The second one is Pylons. The third one is Jupyter. The next one is Python environment. The next one is Python Test Explorer. These extensions will help you or are going to provide a conducive environment for you to code in Python. How do you install these extensions? To install the extensions, simply go to locate the extensions pane. Simply go to the settings icon, click on it, then you can see extensions will pop up as part of the menu. So when you click on it, you will see the pane will open. You can see a list of all the available extensions, the ones you have installed and the ones you are yet to install. So to search for an extension, simply make use of the search bar there, type the name of the extension. It is case sensitive, so just make sure you type the name following the case rule, and then it will pop up. If you have installed it already, you will not see the install button, but if you have not installed it before, you will see the install button. Simply click on install. It will quickly install. Many of them are free to use. So once you have installed it, or once you have installed all those extensions, then your VS Code is ready for you to use it to program in Python. So how do you okay, it is often good to create a project beforehand and then open that project folder from your VS Code, so that any file that you want to create or any program you want to create, you create it within that project directory. So you can see my project is open. I can be able to create any file or folder within it. So I can create a file there by clicking on the file icon, and then I can create a folder using the folder icon. So let's create a file, call it hello.py. Then the file is open, so I can type my code now. You can see the suggestions coming from the VS Code. All those things that suggestion is a result of some of those extensions we installed. When you are typing a command, it will suggest, or it would try to help you complete that command or help you complete that code. So I have saved the file, and you can see it is within that project directory. Now we want to run this program. There are three ways we can run this program. The first is I can use the play button on the VS Code to run it. Once I click on the play button, it will run it. You can see on the terminal, you can see the code has been executed. Hello, my student. The second way you can execute this program is by using your command line interface. So just like we did before, you go and open it. So when you open the command line interface, you have to navigate to where that project folder is, project file is. It's on the desktop and then in my project folder. So once you enter, you can then check out the files inside. You can see hello.py is there. So simply run it by calling python hello.py. Yeah, you have run that Python program. So the third way to run the Python program is by using the terminal on the VS Code. You can see that terminal. We will use it to run this file. So instead of using the command line interface, we can use this terminal. The advantage of this terminal is that it directly opens inside the project folder, so you don't need to navigate. You can see your cursor is blinking in front of my project, so meaning you are already within the project folder. So all you just need is to run your command python hello.py and then you run your program. So those are the three ways you can run your Python program after you have created it with VS Code. So in this video, you have learned two major things. You have learned about the command line interface, what you will use it for, and how to navigate through it. You have also been exposed with the VS Code editor, how to set it up for best coding experience in Python, and how to use it to run your Python scripts. I will see you in our next video where we'll be diving into real Python projects.